17 millionaires who lost it all. Number 17. Gerald Muswagon. He became a multi-millionaire after winning $10 million on the Super 7 jackpot in 1998. After his winnings, he went on a ludicrous shopping spree that resulted in him buying a party pad mansion and several sports cars. His lifestyle consisted of partying, alcohol, drugs, and run-ins with the law. He was involved in a high-speed chase with cops after hitting a speed limit of 111 miles per hour. He was also charged with sexual assault of a 19-year-old girl. After spending every cent of his winnings, he was forced to go back to work, making minimum wage to support himself, his girlfriend, and 6 children. This resulted in him to hang himself in his parents' garage on October 2, 2005. Number 16. Callie Rogers. She's Britain's youngest person to ever win the lottery, hitting it big at just 16 years old. She vowed to spend it wisely. However, a few years later, the taste of living like the rich life got to her. She spent all her money on booze, drugs, lavish items, and underwent 2 breast implant surgeries. She spent about $380,000 on cocaine. She was so depressed with her life that she also tried committing suicide 4 times. After losing all her money, she's turned her life around and is training to become a nurse. Number 15. Sharon Tirabassi. She won $10 million in New Jersey's Powerball in 2004 and nearly has nothing left almost 12 years later. Her money went to luxury houses, fancy cars, big trips, name-brand clothes, leaving her to suffer. Now she's working a part-time job, renting a house, and riding the bus. She warns new lottery winners to manage their money wisely, and that if you're not disciplined, you'll wind up broke, no matter how much money you have. Number 14. Lisa Arcand. After she won $1 million in the lottery, she thought her financial struggles were all through. She bought a new house, traveled, and even opened a restaurant. 4 years later, Lisa had to close her business due to her financial windfall of falling behind on bills and widely spending her money. She spent $3,000 on a party and enrolled her son in a Catholic school, costing $10,000 a year. She states she regrets not hiring a financial planner and that putting in money is not enough to just run a business. There goes all the energy and money she won't be getting back. Number 13. Janet Lee. She was working in a wig shop when she hit $18 million in the Illinois lottery back in 1993. Janet spent most of the money on political and philanthropic causes, which led her to dine with famous presidents, and her name honored on a reading room at the Washington University of Law. She went bankrupt a few years later. She is no longer a millionaire and has $2.5 million in debt. Number 12. Lou Eisenberg. In 1981, he won the lottery at 53 years old and was awarded $5 million. Today at 88, he lives in a mobile home and survives off his Social Security pension. He used all his money to go on expensive vacations to Hawaii, California, and Europe, bought a condo and other luxury things. He married 3 times and eventually ran out of money. He states the divorces also took a big chunk out of his wallet. He told the Palm Beach Post that he feels like a very lucky man, even though he's back to being broke. Number 11. Suzanne Mullins. She won $4.2 million in a Virginia lottery in 1993, but her annual payments racked up and money got tight, leaving Suzanne broke. During that time, her son also became sick and she didn't have the necessary insurance to treat him, resulting in over $1 million in hospital bills and medical care. Number 10. Denise Rossi. She kept her lottery fortune a secret to avoid giving her husband half, but in a surprising appeal, the judge ruled that she had to turn over the whole amount to him. Denise lost $1.3 million to her ex-husband since she falsified data regarding their property. She paid $5 in a pool along with her other coworkers for the lottery, but instead of having a community property cut out of the jackpot, she was given a separate property gift by her coworker. She tried to hide it from her husband, and he found out only a year and a half later. I guess you can call this karma. Number 9. William Post III. It seems like winning the lottery did more harm than help. He won $16.2 million in a Pennsylvania lottery in 1988 and spent $300,000 on presents, investments, houses, and a twin-engine airplane. Just a year later, his estranged brother hired a hitman to kill him and his wife so he could inherit the money. The murder attempt was not a success, and his brother was placed in jail. Later that year, his wife sued him, claiming that they had agreed to split any winnings. A judge ruled that Post owed her 1/3 of the money, despite his denial of the agreement to the deal. By then, he was over $1 million in debt and survived off food stamps. He passed away at 66 years old. Number 8. Jay Summers. He was only 20 years old when he won a $28.9 million jackpot, dividing it with 5 people back in 1988. His money was wasted on 5 new cars, bad deals, and shady investments. Now he's a construction worker and is a race car driver trying to be sponsored by NASCAR. He states that he's still bitter about not handling his finances and that 20-year-olds aren't sensible with their money. Number 7. Evelyn Adams. She got lucky winning the lottery twice, once in 1985 and a second time in 1986, but her lucky streak went downhill from there. Her compulsive gambling and handouts to her friends and family caused her to hit rock bottom, and she never got out. Today, every penny of her fortune is all gone, and she now lives in a trailer home. I guess money really can't buy happiness. Number 6. William Hurt. He felt like he was on top of the world, winning $3.1 million in a Michigan lottery back in 1989. Within the span of 2 years, he was divorced, lost custody of his children, and was charged with attempted murder. He also had a crack cocaine addiction that was so bad that he ended up blowing through his entire jackpot. Number 5. Ibo Roncaglioli. Iba and her husband were already living comfortably since they were a wealthy couple. Her husband Joseph was a gynecologist making $20,000 a month, so it was a surprise when Iba won $5 million back in 1995. She splurged on gambling, lavish items, and gave money to her family. When she died, it was suspected that all the heavy drinking and smoking was the cause. Turns out her husband poisoned her with cyanide and he was found guilty. He was sentenced to 7 years in 2008. Number 4. Billy Bob Harrell Jr. He was nearly broke when he won $31 million from the lottery in 1997. It started out well until he started spending uncontrollably. He quit his job and took his family on several vacations, donated thousands of dollars to churches, bought cars and houses for friends and family, and even donated to the poor. All the unwanted attention, greedy spending, and divorce took a toll on him, and he committed suicide on May 22, 1999, all in the span of 2 years and winning the lottery. Number 3. Michael Carroll. At 19 years old, he won $14.4 million, but it was all blown off on partying, drugs, gambling, and hookers. During that time, his wife also divorced him, and Michael lost his fortune and was forced to file for bankruptcy. After being nearly broke, he applied at various jobs, including as a garbage man, and even slept in a forest during his unemployment. In the past, he was also jailed for terrorizing his neighbors and failing to complete his drug treatment. Number 2. Aruj Khan. Only months after winning $1 million on an Illinois lottery scratch card, Aruj suddenly died. His mysterious death wasn't mysterious at all, but he was actually poisoned with cyanide. But who poisoned him? As the investigation is still searching for answers, his family members are distraught over who should be entitled to his money. In the meantime, the jackpot is frozen in assets until the case can be solved. Number 1. David Lee Edwards. The Powerball winner raked in $27 million from a $280 million jackpot he won in August 2001. However, his extreme spending resulted in luxury cars, mansions, and even a jet, leaving him penniless and alone by 2008. His drug addiction was too much to bear, and him and his wife even contracted hepatitis from sharing their needles. His wife eventually left him, and he died at 58 years old in a hospice. Money really is the root of all evil.
Subscribe for more videos.